6 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, and welcome to all of our witnesses. Thank you for participating. To Mr. and Mrs. Best, I am heartbroken, I am angry, and I am disgusted that I was once a member of a justice system that has failed you so miserably. I guess to really emphasize that point, every time that offender who took your daughter's life appeared in front of a judge and was granted bail, he promised to follow those conditions. And if he was released with a surety, that surety also promised that he would abide by those conditions. These are false promises that are given every single day in this country, and the justice system accepts it at face value, will often sometimes give warnings. Should you breach these conditions, you ought not to expect to be released a second time or a third time or a fourth time. And history and example after example shows us that these are promises that are not fulfilled and consequences not given to offenders. So if you could say to the government, what is the most important thing to you as survivors of a loss such as what you've suffered? What would be the most important thing that you could tell this committee when we write our report to the House?
It would be nice to have the criminals. It would be nice to have the criminals become accountable, no different than we're accountable as members of society. We sat in on a bail hearing, and the accused sat in a small cubicle in the detention facility, and it was like, geez, are we done yet? Like he's not engaged, he's not listening, he does not care. The bail hearing had to be extended by an apology of the justice because the defense lawyer, for 40 minutes, I'm not sure if he took 3 breaths, would not stop talking. As a result, we had to go back 3 days later, and then he was provided bail. Again, there's no motion, there's nothing, there's no feeling, and it's a slap in the face to the government that passed these features that we're living with today. It's a slap in the face to the police force that have to deal with these people.
He showed no emotion. None. He showed no care because he knew he was getting out. That's what this Liberal government's failed justice policies for the last 10 years have instilled within the criminal element in this country. It has emboldened criminals to do exactly what they are doing and terrorizing communities. Thank you for that. To the officers, both of you spoke about first steps. This was a good first step in the government introducing Bill C-14, but you would both acknowledge that while it talks about making it tougher for individuals to obtain bail, the same language that they used with the disastrous rollout of Bill C-48 by expanding the list of reverse onus charges, when you had members of the government, including the Prime Minister of the day and the former Justice Minister, proudly stating, "We delivered bail reform. These repeat violent criminals are going to be detained." We know that was a false promise, a false declaration, because we found ourselves right where we are right now with catch and release. Will you both agree with me that there is not a pathway in Bill C-14 for automatic detention? Yes or no?
I would agree with you, yes.
Right. It still vests discretion for judges in bail matters, particularly when you're dealing with violent repeat offenders, to still be granted bail. And the bill clearly states that when a justice makes a decision to release, it has to be on the least onerous conditions. I want to talk about that because that's one thing that we're not talking about in this committee, which is the sufficiency and the degree by which conditions need to be established. I have heard horror stories across this country of judges refusing to list conditions because it's an invitation to breach, or they're not addressing conditions reflective of the crime and the impact to the community or the victims, or they're making a joke of the promise to pay by requiring offenders to pay 5 cents. This is what's happening in downtown Toronto as we speak. Do you think that type of activism by our judges is appropriate to deal with community and victim safety?
Yeah, I think there's lots of work that we can still do around sureties. I think, in the Antic decision, it said that a pledge for a deposit performs the same function as actually giving a deposit. Quite frankly, that's nonsense.
Do you agree with that?
No, it's nonsense. And so, we need to do more work around sureties. We need to ensure that some sort of deposit is received by the court. We need to ensure that we're doing proper checks on sureties, that we don't have these sort of career sureties showing up repeat time and time again, vouching for someone who's been accused of an offense, that they're going to ensure that they abide by their conditions, knowing that they've put a pledge for a deposit, knowing that they're never going to have to pay that. It's never going to be collected.
Thank you, Mr. Baxter.